And in sports, Malawi Anti-Doping Organization Mado has formulated the policy guidelines that will help to regulate all sporting activities by restricting athletes in the country from use of illegal substances. Some athletes in the world use some drugs and substances during the sporting activities in order to boost their performance, which is not acceptable in as far as international standard of fair play is concerned. Mado has therefore moved in to formulate the legal framework that will monitor every athlete on the aforementioned malpractice. Speaking the consecutive meeting with various sports associations in Blantyre, Chairperson of Mado, James Mwenda, said they have come up with the policy after receiving the funds amounting to $35,000 from UNESCO. In an interview with Television Islam, Mwenda said the policy will be presented to Parliament for approval, adding that the operation of the anti-doping guidelines will help to make a clean sport in the country, thereby making the athletes eligible to take part at any level of sporting activities. Edward Rex speaks with James Mwenda in this interview.
The Anti-Doping Organization was established in 2013, but to date we don't have the legal documents in place. So we requested UNESCO to give us funding so that by the end of the day, we have the legal instruments in place. And as of now, we have the act in place and the policy. But you see, the owners of this act and policy are the athletes. So we are supposed to get the views from their various associations, and they need to input on this particular act. So that's why we called all the sports associations through Malawi National Council of Sports and through Malawi Olympic Committee to have them a session with them so that they go through the act. And
on her part, Project Assistant Officer for UNESCO, Sharifa Dinara, said issues of doping in sports are becoming common internationally, hence their effort to create structures that can help to eliminate the vice in countries like Malawi.
Is to ensure that we source funds for the anti-doping in Malawi, anti-doping sports in Malawi. So we, through UNESCO Paris, under the Fund for Elimination of Doping in Sport, we secured funds that we are implementing this project in Mado, as well as the other sports affiliate and in non-affiliates in sports. Actually, Malawi is a member for one of the signatories of the International Convention on the Doping in Sport. So as a member, as UNESCO, we need to, one of our objectives is to domesticate the conventions or policies that have been acceded at the international level. So we saw to it that it's very important that Malawi need to have some structures that can help in the domestication of the convention. So under the Fund for Elimination of Anti-Doping in Sport, we managed to secure the funds so that we can also ensure that Malawi is leading in terms of anti-doping. And as you know, now anti-doping is a very serious issue. It doesn't just affect the athletes, it also affects countries. You can agree with me in terms of other countries that have been affected by their athletes being cautioned in terms of doping. So as Malawi, we also need to play a proactive role to ensure that we are creating clean sport in Malawi.
While admitting the unregistered cases of doping at local scene, Malawi Netball Association of Malawi Vice President Chimwemwe Bakali said the coming in of the policy to safeguard the athletes on doping is an indication of commitment in sports. Chimwemwe Bakali explains.
In netball, we have these rules that are from the World Netball, and with the this arrangement, we are having them locally here in Malawi. And in the course of the discussion, we talked about educating the affected or the stakeholders, because we are not only talking about the athletes, we are talking about those that support the athletes, and there's a long list. So we really needed to regulate activities that aims at making sure we are in line with the world in terms of anti-doping. So this has come at the right time, and we welcome it. Even though we haven't had these cases as netball, we really need to get prepared. We need to do the right thing so we are not affected in the future tournaments. Because now sports is growing each day worldwide. As such, you never know, and therefore we really have to get prepared. In our discussion, one area that we looked at was on educating the athletes and all those involved, because there's a list of the substances that are prohibited, those that are not prohibited, but there are also exemptions where the prohibited substances, there are related exemptions, and it is very important that athletes and all related are aware of the requirements if they are to take the exemption route, but also to avoid these prohibited, go on with those that are acceptable.
The formulated guidelines will see the offenders being banned from participating in any kind of sporting activities.